Welcome everyone. In this video we will talk about how you can take the counter trend trades. Like whenever market is trending to the either side, like it's bullish or bearish, how you can take the trade against the trend. Now, first of all, if we look at the example, like if market is making higher highs, something like this. Now, how you can take trades of the sell side in the trending market to the upside. Now, whenever you have to sell, first you have to wait for the market to grab the liquidity to the buy side. Like market may have created the liquidity to the buy side at this point, and whenever market break above this liquidity, you can look for a sell and target the lower areas. Like market is moving to the upside. Now whenever market break below this point, we can look for the buy whenever we use the smart money concept. Like after grabbing the liquidity at this point, market may have tap on this PY and we can look for a buy. But sometimes market go for the deeper retracement, because every trade is a 50-50 probability. So it's your choice if you want to take the trade or not. Now if market wants to go lower and they mitigate something to the extreme, like this can be the extreme and mitigate order block, then how you can sell? First you have to wait for the market to grab the liquidity of this point. Why? Because this is the buy side liquidity. Whenever market trap the buyers, then it can go short. When market trap the buyers and tap on the unmitigated PI or just grab the liquidity, then you can look for the sell. Now what's the problem with the counter trend trading? Market may not move to the extreme unmitigated PY. Why? Because market may move to the downside and grab the liquidity of just this pullback, which is at this point, and then again it may reverse to the upside. So these are the problems. You don't know where to target, so you have to take the partials. In this way you can look for the liquidity. Now there can be another scenario also, like if market is moving to the upside, something like this, and it failed to close the candle above the previous pullback and move to the downside directly. Like this can be the liquidity sweep in the higher time frames at this point, and market move to the downside and break below this point. So this is the change of character to the short term, not for the long term. Then you do not have to wait for the market to grab the liquidity. Why? Because market has already grabbed the liquidity, and you can look for a sell whenever market tap on this area and target the lower area prices. Now we will see it on a chart. Now as you can see that at this point, this was the Euro USD 50-minute time frame. For most of the traders that are intraday traders, these areas were the liquidity, and when market took out this liquidity, you can look for a sell. Now at this point, as you can see that this was a bullish price action. At this point market was moving to the upside. Now this was a counter trend trade. At this point market took out the liquidity of these pullbacks, which is at this point, and tap on this unmitigated area at this point. Now what you can target? You can target this low, which is your main target. Why? Because market may not move to the downside for the long term, so this can be your target. But if market want to retrace deeper, then this can be the order block from where it can move to the upside. You don't exactly know where the market can reverse. So as you can see that if we move to the left side, market gave a reaction to the upside from this point, because this is the only reason, because we do not know market where market can reverse. Now market can move to even lower prices, as you can see at this point. Again market moving to the downside, and then finally at this point market shift to the downside at this point. Now this is the liquidity point. When market took out this liquidity, we can again look for a buy. So sorry, sell. So if we can see that this is the area where we can sell. Now market tap on this point, gave a reaction to the downside, but it again moved to the upside. Now how you can take this trade? The counter trend trade, because we are overall bearish now in the 15-minute time frame, and the market is moving to the downside and creating the lower lows. And as you can see that market moved to the downside, then it grabbed the liquidity of all these internal pullbacks at this point, and after grabbing the liquidity, it moved to the upside. Now when it moved to the upside, this was the only area where we can look for a buy, and we do not need market to take out the liquidity because market already taken out the liquidity. But this is the counter trend and we don't know exactly how higher can market go, but market move to the upside. So this can be the upside direction for the market. Now this is the upside direction in the Euro USD in the 15-minute in the market. Now how you can look for a sell? You have to wait for the market to grab the liquidity of the previous pullback. So if you can see that this is a liquidity grab, no, this is not the proper pullback liquidity grab because market hasn't created any pullback. So this is not the area where you can look for a sell, and market continue to move to the upside till this point. Market grab the liquidity of the previous pullback also, and it also shift to the downside at this point. So this can be your short term change of character, like market can retrace to the downside for the short term. Now how you can sell? As you can see that market has already taken out the liquidity, so you can look for a sell on the unmitigated order flow, and this is the last buying move before the downside. Market tap on this point and you can look for a sell. Market tap on this point and move to the downside. Now what you can target? If we see for the buy side, these are the liquidity for the buy side that market can take. After taking out the liquidity, market can tap on this area and move to the upside, or market can tap on this area which is at this point and move to the upside. Or is there any extreme unmitigated order block? Yes, this is the extreme unmitigated order block. Market can tap on this area and move to the upside. But as you can see that market failed all these POIs, and where it reverses, market reverse after taking out the liquidity of this low. So you don't exactly know where to target. Sorry, this is not the liquidity point. Market took out the liquidity of this low, like this is the low, this is the equal low, and market took out the liquidity of this area. And after taking out the liquidity, market closed above the previous pullback which is at this point. So this can be the change of character to the internal structure, and you can look for a buy after that. Now when you can buy? Whenever market took out the liquidity. This is the area where the liquidity is resting. Market took out the liquidity and then it tap on the unmitigated order block which is at this point after taking out the liquidity, and reverse to the upside, and you can target the recent high which is at this point. This was the area that you can target. In this way you can look for the counter trend trades. Now if you want to take the lower time frame entries, you can also take the lower time frame entries, but this is the only way in which you can take the counter trend trades. Now if you can look for the another examples, we can also see the another examples, like market is moving to the upside at this point. Like at this point market took out the liquidity of the previous pullback, but it didn't close the candle below the previous pullback which is at this point. So we cannot sell at this point because this is also a liquidity grab to the upside, so that market can move to the buying side. And again market closed the candle above this point, so this is not the sell side trade at this point. So whenever you have to take the counter trend trades, you have to look for the market to take the liquidity of the opposite side. In this way you can take the high probability counter trend trades. So thanks for watching this video.